Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Chioma Elion. If you're new here, this channel is primarily faith-based. It's where we explore the Bible, the scripture, and we pull out lessons and teachings that we can practically apply to our lives and the various but common issues that we face as Christian women, as Christians generally. If it sounds like something that interests you, whether you're a Christian or not, explore the channel, watch a few videos, and if you like it, if you feel like it's something that you can benefit from, then please do subscribe and join the community and share it with anyone else that you think can gain from it. If you're not new here, then welcome back. As always, it's lovely to have you here. Without you, I'll be talking to myself. There would be no one to share my learnings and experiences with. So I'm so grateful for your watching, your returning, and your overall engagement and support. So thank you so much. Now, if I do sound a bit clogged up, I have been a bit under the weather, but I am recovering well. So please excuse and bear with me. Right, in the last two videos, was it three? I think it's two. In the last two videos, we've been exploring the opening chapters of Exodus. We're still on chapter 2, and I don't think we're going to get through the whole book of Exodus, but we've been looking at the early stages of Moses' life. If you don't know who Moses is, then go and have a quick read of Exodus, and you'll find all you need to know there. But we have been able to draw so much from the first few months of his entrance, his birth into the world. And in the last two videos, we have looked at how spiritual resistance often signals destiny, and feeling hated sometimes is proof that you carry something holy, and how being hidden isn't punishment, but preparation. God hides what he values, and obscurity is often where greatness is nurtured. But what happens when the hiding season comes to an end and God calls you to move, but the way forward doesn't look promising, polished, or even peaceful? That's where we find ourselves in Exodus chapter 2, verse 3. And that's where this message begins. So after 3 months, Moses is growing, he's getting bigger, and naturally a bit more noisy. And therefore, inevitably, it's harder for his mother to hide him, to keep hiding him at home. So she's in a dilemma now. She's done all she can, and now she needs to trust God in a new, radical way. And Exodus chapter 2, verse 3 describes what she did. And it says, "But when she could hide him no longer, she got a papyrus basket for him and coated it with tar and pitch. Then she placed the child in it and put it among the reeds along the bank of the Nile." Now, I've titled this the Unglamorous Journey because of this. This is such an unglamorous journey. Baby Moses is going on a river cruise in a handmade basket. That is not glamorous. But let's just appreciate how unrefined this is. This isn't a fancy boat like Noah's Ark. This is a handmade basket, handmade, dubbed with tar to waterproof it. It probably smelled bad and looks shabby. And Jochebed places her precious baby, and we know he's precious from the previous scripture and videos. She places her precious baby into this basket and releases him into the river Nile. The river Nile has currents, reeds, maybe even crocodiles. It's messy, it's scary, and it's definitely not something that looks like a success story at this point. If we freeze frame here, it looks like a desperate attempt with an uncertain outcome. How many times have you been in a transition period that felt a lot like Moses' basket ride? Uncertain, unsure, scary. Preparation and transition periods often look unglamorous. They're uncomfortable, unpredictable, and often unattractive from the outside. But the encouragement here is that unglamorous doesn't mean not purposeful. In fact, purpose is often wrapped in or disguised in uneventful and bumpy. But Moses' basket ride was actually the vehicle to his destiny, literally delivering him to Pharaoh's palace where he'd be raised. And in the same way, the shaky season that you're in might precisely be what prepares or positions you for God's next chapter in your life. So I think of this as the awkward caterpillar in a cocoon stage. Inside, The caterpillar probably feels cramped and a bit messy as it dissolves and then reforms, but that's how you get a butterfly. The basket was Moses's cocoon. Your basket could be various things. It could be, for example, an entry level job that doesn't pay, much, but it's teaching you valuable skills. It could be the many sacrifices that you're having to make to build a dream or a vision. Or it could be an actual journey, like traveling to studies or work in conditions that are quite challenging. But through it all, God is working, God is moving, and He's continuing to open doors. One writer put it this way: God uses waiting times to prepare us for things we're waiting for. And even things we don't know are coming. I really like that. Jochebed, Moses' mother, she was in a waiting period. She had to wait on God and trust that all those months of hiding and waiting weren't amounting to nothing. And truly, God was preparing something that she could have never imagined. That Pharaoh, the one who ordered that, the babies be killed, his own daughter would find and favor her very child. Let's acknowledge that preparation seasons can be rough. They usually are. And it's okay to admit that. You don't have to enjoy uncertain, uneasy, unglamorous rides. No, I'm sure baby Moses probably cried in that basket as he was traveling from his mother to Pharaoh's palace. And likewise, you might shed tears in your messy middle. You might get frustrated or maybe even angry. Sometimes you just need your space, and that is definitely me. I've experienced all of these feelings. But take comfort, honestly. God is not allowing any of it to be wasted. And I'm definitely talking to myself also. A lot of the times when you feel like you're drifting, God is actually steering. And Proverbs chapter 3 verse 5-6 says, trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will direct your paths. Notice, it doesn't say the path will be straight, but it does say that God will direct it. I don't think Moses' basket path would have looked straight. Definitely didn't sound safe, but God directed it where it needed to be, exactly where it needed to be. If you're in an unglamorous journey right now, try to reframe it. What is God trying to develop in you? Patience, humility, new skill set, new relationships, confidence, boundaries. Often, the very discomfort of these times shape us. Personally, I recall working in a coffee shop a few summers ago, and my shift started at 5:30 a.m. And then I had to be at work at 5:30 a.m. So imagine the time I had to wake up to prepare and to travel to get to work. It definitely wasn't something I wanted to do, but I had to do in the moment. But in that season, I developed discipline, but also a sleeping pattern that was extremely useful for my final year in university. So in that year, I decided to commute from home, and it was a few hours commute. I did that 3 times a week. But to be able to do this, to get to my seminars on time, I needed to wake up around 6 a.m. So imagine for months having to get up to be at work for 5:30. Now I just need to wake up at 6 a.m. Lie. But at the time of my working at that coffee shop, I didn't have in mind that I was going to need to commute from home to university. I hadn't yet made that decision. But God saw it all, and He allowed things to align in such a way that was perfect. My experience at the coffee shop prepared me physically and mentally, but it also exposed me to different types of coffees that I now like. So honestly, it was a win-win. And this isn't new either. We see it in the Bible. We're going to look at one example, and that is David. In 1 Samuel chapter 17 verses 33-37, when David volunteered to kill Goliath, Saul doubted him, but David explained why he could take Goliath on. And you know what he used to explain it? His experience as a shepherd, how he protected the sheep of his flock from a lion and a bear. And he described it vividly. Now, if we take a step back, David put himself forward to do what he had already been doing, protecting from a predator. As a shepherd, it was the sheep from wild animals, and as a warrior, it was Israelites from an enemy. He was doing the same thing, just in different settings. But what's important to notice is that David acknowledged that it was God who rescued him before, and it would be God to rescue him again. He trusted God. He placed his trust in God. And that's what's key. So bear in mind that what God is preparing you for may not and most likely won't look identical to where you are or what you're doing now. But there will most likely be transferable skills. If you feel like you're floating in uncertainty, know that God's hand is on your basket and hang on. God is the same yesterday, today, and forevermore. If God showed up for people of old, he will show up for you now. He is showing up for you now. And I'm sure you can look back in hindsight and see that God has always shown up for you. Preparation may not be pretty, it usually isn't, but it's always packed with purpose. So embrace the lessons and trust that in due time, you'll end up exactly where you're meant to be. That's all for today, guys. I hope this was helpful. If it was, please do like, comment, and subscribe as usual. I love engaging with you guys in the comments, so leave your comments below. I'll respond to all of them. And yeah, I'll see you in my next video very soon by the grace of God. Please stay safe, please keep praying, and please prepare for the coming back of Jesus Christ. I had to add that in there. There will probably be a video on this coming out soon. So yeah, keep an eye out for it. Anyways, I'll see you in my next video. Toodles.